Right, we are back for another week of cat and chicken yoga. I mentioned the cats first because they seem to be dominating the space here. All right, and you're always guaranteed at least one cat and say 2 chickens. All right, and if I can't bring you that, I'll give you some fish. You can have some fish. So we're meditating. Welcome to everyone. Welcome back to our regulars. Rita, what are you doing, Rita? Come here. Leave everyone alone, all right? Don't bother Banu. He's meditating. Actually, I think Banu is eating grass to help his upset stomach. Because he barfed. All right, there's a good girl. Okay, hey, let's get right into it, shall we? Grasp your feet, inhale, sit tall, exhale over. So I had a little feedback. I have feedback on these videos disabled, if you didn't notice. And but I still get feedback. Let's go right into our camel ride, shall we? Exhaling back and inhaling forward. Had a little feedback that you appreciate the super long videos, but that shorter videos are good too. And I totally get that. And so the set we're about to do is really one of my favorite sets. It's the bird set. And so counterintuitively, since it's my favorite, or one of my favorites, I'm going to do it a little quicker. And that way, you might be more inclined to come back to that video and do it again if it's a little bit faster, right? So, because I know everyone's busy, right? So, but we still have to do our little check-ins. And I think of this Kundalini movement as a check-in. We do the same thing every time we do this. And so rather than thinking of it as a boring, monotonous movement, think of it as a chance to see how your body's doing compared to the last time you did this. So you use it as a basis of comparison, as sort of a baseline. If your spine won't move, like mine, then you know that you're a little less flexible today. And to to think about that, keep that in mind as you do your other poses. Okay, so, but we get the idea, Carlos. So let's go around in a circle. We'll circle around one way and then circle the other way. What I forgot to mention is that in this bird set, think about everything as being symbolic of birds. So that Kundalini camel ride that we just did, that is a big opening and closing. Just for a second, I'm going to go back to it. So this is close and this is open. And a bird in flight is close, open, close, open. So birds are always doing this close, open. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my circles. So I think the point I was making is that even if the pose doesn't say this is a bird pose, you can still capture the spirit of a bird if you try. Wow, I think we've got, in this shot, you may be able to see almost every animal I've got. Except for poor Frady, who's too scared to come outside. He's doing great though. Okay, so then When the arms go overhead, the movement goes inside, becomes more eternal, more difficult. Don't even try to make this a big movement. So you may have noticed, okay, so it is monsoon season and we're getting some good rain, but it's super bright out. Oh, that was another piece of feedback. Some people said these videos are too dark, and I can lighten it up, but it's just this extreme contrast between us here in the shade and then full sunlight. Wow, there's a little spider's making a web right above baby monster. I'm gonna set him aside. Okay, so one more of these, and then one more of these. And then one more of these. Go deep down into the pelvic floor. You can't see it, but you can feel it. One more in each direction. Okay, great. So that's enough of that. And then let's do our twist. This is very bird-like. Go right into the arms up. So these are like our wings. So next time you come to center, that'll be our last one and we'll move on. So this set is a little less twisty and a little more hard opening. So that's another good reason why you might return back to this video, is because if you need hard openers, if you're doing a lot of work on your computer, you need to open this area out. So let's just bring one leg back. You can just keep this leg where it is. So this leg folded back is more bird-like. This is not so much bird-like. If I had a chicken, I could show you. Their wings are all swept back. So this is swept back and then fold forward. See how her wings are all swept back? Just relax. Banu, don't sit in the sun. It's just weird. Okay, we'll come back up and I'll switch legs if I can without wiping out my cat here. Not bad. Come forward again. So it's funny that baby's intimidated by these chickens that are actually weigh less than she does. But she got in this fight with this huge cat, twice her size, and she ran him off all the way out of the parking lot. Big tomcat, bigger than well, about the same size as Banu. She beat him up. And without any hesitation at all. She wasn't backed into this fight. She sought this fight out. Let's come back up. Okay, so instead of our thunderbolts, this is an opportunity to do our first Garuda asana. So it's like a half thunderbolt. I gotta find a level spot. So it's a half thunderbolt, which means you're gonna have more weight. I'll show you on this side. You're gonna have more weight on this foot, so be careful. So shift your weight over to this leg if that's not comfortable, and then come up as high as you can without hurting this leg. And then you can, so we can all start here, and then if you're stable and not tippy, you can come to here, and then if you want, you can pull your arms back, arch your back, and look up. So Garuda is this eagle god, and it's not a literal eagle. He's a sort of a mythical eagle, so it's not an actual eagle. And that's why these Garuda poses are different than the standard Hatha eagle pose. So I'm going, you guys don't have to move around the way I am. I'm just shifting, so I'm showing you this leg here. Either here or here. Oh, that's terrible, that sun. Oh, man. There we go. So we're going to do this several times, variations on this several times. So the first time, don't worry about it. As far as, don't try to get all your heart opener here right now, because we'll do more. Okay, so that's enough, because we're going to revisit that. Then our squat of the day will be any kind of squat you want, but then maybe if you're comfortable in a squat, we can do another bird pose. We can do our duck walk, right? So if you're going to try this, you have to shift weight in order to step this foot. So quack, quack, quack. I'm not really trying to do this as much as I can, because I don't want to fall down on baby monster, or I'm just doing a sort of a symbolic duck walk. That's plenty, right? How about our crow balance? So remember, the key to the crow balance is to not try so hard to balance. It's really about finding your center of gravity and finding a good anchor spot for your elbows that's comfortable, that will stay without slipping. I hope you can still see me. Here we go. So, but let me get where you can see my feet, because I'm not pulling my feet up. I'm just tipping forward, and then the feet come up all by themselves. Okay, so I need to be looking up also if I can. If you guys are getting good at this, you could start to look up in your balance, right? So, okay. And then the crane is harder because my knee is going to be here. And I promise you beforehand, if I wipe out and do a face plant, I will not edit it out. I promise I won't. So watch out, baby. Here we go. Drum roll, please. Get your knees as high up in here as you can. Uh-oh. All right, so the exemption is if you're wearing long sleeves or slippery spandex, and it won't stay there, right? So that's your exemption from that one if you need it. Banu, get out of the sunlight. So let's see, then a hanging forward bend. And then we're going to do Skandasana, which is very, very bird-like. It's like a giant bird, or even more like pterodactyl. So this is the one where this leg is going to be very bent. That leg is very straight. You can feel pulling and stretching here. And then we twist outward with our giant wings. Big deep breath. Don't spend too much time here. Work your way over to the other side. And so go back and forth, and with a little bit fewer steps in between, fewer hand steps in between. So maybe just boop. How about one more to each side? All right, back to center. Hang out here. You can walk your feet in or hop in. And then we're going to do our Kundalini back bend, but this is going to bring me up to standing, and either you won't be able to see my head or my face is just going to get blasted with sunlight. So I'm going to head over to the dojo. So we're going to come up in the form of a Kundalini back bend like a giant bird. So the first time, bend your knees, sink down to be careful of your back, or I should say be careful of my back. Come all the way up, little back bend here, but not too much the first time. Back to Anjali Mudra, and back down. Inhale up, exhale down. Little more back bend each time. Maybe eventually the legs become straight as you come up. Like a giant bird. How about two more? If you're getting dizzy, just stand in your mountain pose and let the world stop spinning, because that's where we'll end up, you guys. Or we'll just be standing, actually no, we'll be standing with our hands to our heart. When we're finally down here, almost done. Ah, that's great. It's really one of my favorite sets. Okay, step out into a 5-point star. So we'll do warrior one, but dedicated again to Garuda. So you know how this is going to go. I'm going to move a little closer to you. Okay, turn both feet to one side and then bend the knee slightly, rotate around. So first, just warrior one, just to remind ourselves how this works. Extend upward, and then you may look up, arch your back, and then here we go. So the arms are going to come down, keep the palms facing up, or maybe even rotating past horizontal, almost trying to face behind you. Pull the arms back. Keep breathing. And then on an inhale, arms back up, face forward. Rotate back to face me. And then arms down to horizontal. Okay, turn both feet to the other side. Rotate around, bend the knee, up we go. So if you've had enough of this, then just look forward, and you can even be here. Remember, this is our option. Or here, here, here. Inhale up. Turn forward, arms down to horizontal. So let's see. Can I come into center without upsetting Banu? Let's see how graceful I can do this. His ears went back. His ears went back. I failed. Oh well. All right, time for our balances. Let's do a balance. We're going away from yoga now for a moment for our balances because there's some really wonderful bird balances. The golden rooster stands on one leg from Tai Chi. The reason I like it is it's what I call a dynamic balance, where you hold it we're really in motion. It may look like we stop for a moment, but we're really in motion. The other reason I like this one is that it's a little bit it involves the abs. And so if you remember this one, you can start on either leg. It's the elbow comes to the knee, but not if I have to lean over. If I have to lean over, then your elbow cannot come to your knee, but you still crunch here, right? This hand is down here for imaginary support. But what I'm saying about the dynamic nature of this is that when it comes time to lose my balance, I'm going to just do it gracefully and use it as an excuse to switch sides, right? So if you lose your balance now, just switch sides now. And if you can hold this for a while, hold it, but don't struggle like what I was just doing. If I struggle any more than what I just did, I'm out, and I'm going to just go on to my other side, okay? The only thing worse than losing your balance is not losing your balance, but struggling, right? The only time you would struggle like that is if you're actually on the edge of a high canyon or something. If your life depends on it, you can struggle. But if you're in yoga class, please don't struggle. Just let it down gracefully, right? It's like, it's like a lot of things in life. Just gotta deal with life as gracefully as possible. Okay, see if I can get this here without leaning over. And we're still breathing, right? And as I mentioned before, I've said it so many times, I hate to repeat myself, this leg is bent, it's not straight. And the more bent it is, the more muscles you involve. And the more muscles you involve, the more inputs there are to correct your imbalances. Okay, that's enough of that, because we have another one to do. I'm going to remain oblique from you so you can see more of what's going on. So this is from Cayman. This is the crane from Cayman. So arms out. I'll turn oblique when it becomes necessary. So this is beautiful. It doesn't start out as a balance. Big deep breath, arch your back, open your chest, look up, and then exhale. Rotate those arms under, looking down. No big deal. Big crane wings. Inhale up, exhale down. This feels really great. There's a variation of this we can try before we get to our balance, where as you go down and under, you're going to just look underneath your arm. Just getting your neck involved a little bit, but not too much. That's a nice gentle neck movement. Let's do it on the other side. So once to each side just for right now. And now we'll focus on our balance. So no more looking under your arm. Okay, so here comes the balance. This time when I come up, I'm going to turn sideways. Lift a leg. And when you go down, extend that leg out. All right, so remember, no heroics here. And we're not going to switch legs each time because that's actually more unsettling. Stick with one leg. Do as much or as little as you feel comfortable with. Whoops, I lost it. Okay. But see how if you lose your balance, you can just continue right where you were. You don't have to start over again. Oops, and just continue on. Oops, just continue on. Oops, continue on. So little dabs. Okay, let's do the other leg. Little dabs are not a bad thing. And a little dab is actually very helpful. If there was, boy, don't make me look on the internet, but if there was such a thing as a balance competition, I think they would allow a dab, right? And so they might say, because if there was so for instance, there's a form of motorcycle racing called observed trials, and it's all about balance. If you've never seen it, go onto YouTube. Well, you're already on YouTube. Don't do it now, but later. It's called Observed Trials. And it's motorcyclists going like 2 miles an hour, but doing in crazy things with balance. I've done a little bit of it myself. I know a guy who did it professionally. But the point is, they're allowed a dab and to touch their foot. So in their scoring, it'll say section 1. If you have 0 foot drops, that's great. But the harder the section, the more foot touches there will be. So if we were doing a really hard balance, maybe we'd do it for 5 minutes and maybe you'd say, oh, I touched my foot 3 times, right? But you wouldn't lose it. You wouldn't lose it and start. You don't have to start over again. You get to continue right around. Oops, and I continue. Oops, and I continue. Okay, great. Enough of that. That's great. So I hope that added a little new dimension to your balance, if balancing is an issue. So how about, let's go down to hanging forward bend. So a little note here, we're not going back out with the chickens because it's a long story. We're not going back out with the chickens. So hanging forward bend. Well, I can come closer to you now because we're going to head back down to the floor. Isn't that a great cat? Isn't he just the best? He's not feeling too good today, you guys. Okay. So back to, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to turn obliquely away from you. It seems you can see more. Let's go, let's bring a leg back and go into lunge, shall we? Okay, so here we go. We're going to do another Garudasana, another version. It's so versatile. Drop your knee down, flatten your foot out, maybe walk this front foot over for stability, and then remember, this is perfectly fine. If you've had it with heart openers, then you're good. Stay here. Otherwise, arms out. So Garuda is pictured often with the one knee. I don't know what it signifies. So for this one, we can move our hips forward more than we could. Every pose is a little different, even if it seems similar. So I can push my hips forward, stretch the hip flexor. One more breath here. Back to here. And then I'm going to come down to here, curl my toes under, press back up to lunge, step forward, other leg back, lunge on this side. Just briefly, drop the knee, flatten the foot out, maybe walk this foot over, maybe keep this foot crooked, all for stability. Come up to here, hang out here, or here. One more breath. So hopefully, this is a lot of heart openers. So this is why maybe I want you to bookmark this set. I think heart openers can affect your mood. Does everyone feel great? I hope so. Okay. And then downward dog. Depends on wherever you are on your mat. If you're on the back of the mat, walk your hands forward. If you're at the front of the mat, walk your feet back. So this is a different type of heart opener. When the arms are overhead, drop your chest, pull your hips back. One more breath. And then let's carefully bring one of our knees forward. I'm going to move back. I'm afraid I'm getting out of the frame here. So I'm just sliding back. So we're going to do another balance, but we're going to do a balance down here. And as you know, these floor balances can be deceptively difficult. You'd think just because you're low that it would be easy, but you certainly have less far to fall. So I think we're going to come all the way down. Okay, the leg is straight, which is why it's difficult to balance, right? And just for clarity, when we do our crow, the leg is crooked underneath us. When we do our mermaid, the leg is straight. At least those are the little distinctions that I'm aware of. Other teachers do it differently. But my leg is straight now, making it more tippy from side to side. That's why this is going to be a balance. Okay, so you might be able to do it from here, but I'm going to come down to here. And this is not the crow we're doing, you guys, so don't get it confused. So my torso's down on my thigh, if you can't see that. I sweep my arms back, palms facing in, and then maybe I'll rise up a little bit, but also pick that back foot up. And then this is a lot more like a bird of prey than it is like a crow, and it's deceptively difficult. I don't know if you can feel the instability here, but it's very unstable. It's a great balance. Hopefully nothing hurts. Doesn't look like much, but you're doing a lot. So how about one more breath? Come back down. Okay. Hope you enjoyed that. Let's switch legs. So remember, we're resting here before we do anything. So I hope you realize when I'm chatting with you, that's your opportunity to rest. I know what's going on. Okay. Leg is straight, very tippy. You better engage your abs to protect your lower back here and to help your balance, and drop your torso down to your knee. I think we tried this up higher, but this is really neat way down low. So my leg is barely coming up. Hey, Banu. Come back. Uh-oh, he's doing mirror gazing. That's his meditation, you guys. Wow, what does he see? All right, that's enough. Woo! Now, the aforementioned pigeon. I'm sorry, pigeon. Did I say crow before? I meant pigeon. And I'm not going to re-record this. So you guys don't know what ends up being re-recorded. Not because I flub poses, but technical stuff. A lot of cords come undone. The memory card fills up and the whole thing shuts down. I do a lot of these sets 2 or 3 times just to get it right once. And so that's good for me. The more yoga I do, the better, right? So why don't we just come all the way down, right? Because you may not want to do the pigeon. You might say, this is enough pigeon for me right down here. Thank you very much. Can you see Banu mirror gazing? I'm glad he's feeling better. One of the takes that didn't make it, that's lying on the cutting room floor, is he barfed. He barfed on camera, but there was a technical glitch, so I can't zoom in on that and have that in slow motion as our meditation. I really regret that. Let's come up to sort of a hybrid of our pigeon and a cobra. All right, and you don't have to go any further than this, but the next step would be to come up higher, up onto your knee. And then the final step is there's no more modifications. You're either all in or not. So you have to engage your abs to protect your lower back, and then the arms come back. Join your hands, puff your chest out like a pigeon, and breathe. So first, enjoy this before you try to lift your leg, because lifting your leg may end this very quickly. So now I've had a good few breaths here. Now I can try to lift my leg. Yeah, it ruins it. So anyway, for me, it ruins it. So I make sure that I enjoy the pose first before I lift my leg. So let's try the other side. Okay. You don't have to move around. I just move around for your benefit. Other leg bent underneath me. When we practice in the dark in our night class, it's little things like this you might not be able to see. Or new people can't see it. I worry that they can't see what my leg is doing. And the new people are always in the back, which is exactly the opposite of what they should do. And the people that are hard of hearing, they always go way, way, way in the back too. Right? Admit it. Okay, great. You don't have to do any more than this, but you could come up to this half cobra. Hope you see me moving around. I'm not trying to be frozen like a statue. I'm moving around. I think that there needs to be more little adjustments in yoga. So the idea is not to suffer through each pose until it's over. The idea is to kind of play with it, find a way that feels good to you, and then maybe wish that we held the pose longer, right? Rather than wishing it would be over sooner. But I know how it is. Okay, here we go. Engage the abs first, please. Breathe deeply. So this is another version of a heart opener. This time really involving the shoulders. One more breath. Oh wait, I gotta try to lift my foot up, but first I enjoy this segment of the pose, and then it may fall apart here. That's not bad. Jeez. Try it again. Don't watch me. Oh, forget it. Can't do that today. Well, I did a little bit. Okay. Child pose, please. So maybe your visualization is you are a little chick inside of an egg, and it's time to start pecking your way out. So you finally peck a nice big hole, and you can climb out of your egg, and your mama chicken will take good care of you. They're so protective. And all those warm feathers here, you can just crawl underneath there anytime you want. All right, time for pigeon, peacock, but I'm not going to do peacock because my back is still not quite where it needs to be, but my legs are wide. I'll talk you all the way up to that point and then let you try it if you want. Palms facing up, roll the palms under. Fingers pointed back at me. So this is a frog stretch. Don't hyperextend your elbows. In other words, don't bend your arms backward. And then if you want to do the peacock, you have to really dig your elbows into your abs and maybe, and probably bring your head down to the mat, move your legs back, and then you're just gonna sort of hyperextend back up this way. But I'm not gonna do it because, again, my back is still not 100%. It's not worth risking, is it? Okay. All right, good. Let's do our side pose. Let's do our half moon side bend. And remember, this could be our only side bend in this set because birds don't do a lot of side bends, you guys. Inhale up and exhale down. Can you still see Banu? Doesn't he look great? So the cats used to love coming over here, I realize now, because the dojo has superior HVAC than to what they have at their house, right? It's colder in the summer and warmer in the winter. But lately, it doesn't have anything, right? So that's why they don't like coming over here anymore. But Banu, he's sticking it out. So I'm coming up as high as I can, our last chance for a side bend. And then come on down, switch sides. Inhale up, exhale down. Couple more of these. This will be my last one. Come up as high as I can. Nice side stretch. One more breath. And then come on back down, lay back, hug your knees to your chest. So in this case, our monkey twist is more reminiscent of bird's wings. And knees to one side, head to the other. Back to the other side. Back to center, hug your knees to your chest. Release any leftover tension that you might have. And then now that your body is just filled with prana, you can send it to any part of your body that may need a little healing energy. If you're super healthy and have plenty of extra prana, send it to someone who might need it. And if you have a ton of extra and you're even you can send a little bit to Banu because he's not feeling too good lately. So whenever you're ready, take your last breath, exhale, collapse into your corpse pose. And we'll do what we normally do. I'll give you your closing thought right now, and then I'll sneak away and you guys can meditate by yourselves with some animal. I don't know which one it'll be. But the only bird quote I have that pertains to yoga
is from the Yoga Sutras, 400 BC, Patanjali. You cannot change the whole world, but you can change yourself and feel as free as the birds. And I'll give you your namaste right now. Namaste. And enjoy your meditation.